Hey ladies, so I'm driving and this is a video, but I haven't gotten the audio recording setting straight, so it's a video, but obviously you can't see anything because I don't have the proper setup to have the camera facing me while I'm driving, and I get a lot of good ideas while I'm driving, so I'm getting tired of forgetting what I wanted to say or not being able to record on the spot when I'm inspired. So I just have the camera on, but it's obviously not recording anything. But the important part is what I'm saying. It's not so much looking at me because anyway, I'm driving. So what I wanted to talk about today is the importance of rotational dating. So a lot of the women I work with, they're very resistant to this, and this is one of the main reasons why they experience heartbreak after heartbreak or letdown after letdown, and ultimately it ends up making them discouraged and making them not want to date. They grow weary in the process, and they end up spending more time single than they would if they would follow that advice. So I want to tell you, for those that don't know exactly what rotational dating is, it is seeing multiple people. So please, don't take me saying seeing multiple people to mean sleeping with multiple people. That is a personal choice who you sleep with. But I'm talking about dating. I'm talking about communicating, being open. That is what I am referring to when I talk about dating multiple folks, is, mingling, going out on dates, communicating, getting to know, all of that, everything up to a committed relationship. So basically, you don't want to set your focus on one particular man unless he is stepping up to claim you as his woman, not just with words, but with actions as well. So until that happens, you should assume that all men that you meet are seeing other women as well. If you're meeting men on a dating app, you're not the only woman that they've sent a message to. And even if they just joined the app yesterday and you were the first person they messaged, don't assume that there's no one else in their life, that there aren't women or friends with benefits or exes or, just things, life, that are still lingering in their atmosphere. And a lot of times, women can have the delusion that if a man really likes you, then he's just going to cut off and forsake everybody else. He shouldn't talk to, communicate with, text, entertain anybody else if things are going well with us. And one thing men do that women don't do is, they definitely keep themselves out there to find the best option before they commit, before they make a purchase, and take themselves off the market and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna for sure go for. Men take their time to size you up, to see how you respond in different situations. They tend to get close to women incrementally. And if a man is not doing that, then you want to be wary, because any man that's rushing into things, that's a red flag. Oftentimes, if a man's rushing into things, or he's love bombing you, as they call it, which basically means like within the first week, he's telling you, I love you, you're the one, talking about marriage and things like that. That's one of those, it's like a firecracker. Like, it's a lot of energy in the beginning, but it burns out quick. You want a slow burn. You want something that, increases over time and picks up speed and momentum and intensity with time. Not starting off, with crazy intensity. And then obviously at some point, people need a break. People cannot carry on at a 10 for forever. So eventually he's going to pull back. Eventually you're not going to hear from him as much, or he's not going to have that same zeal or excitement he had in the very beginning when he was riding off of feelings and hormones and things were new. And that's when you'll freak out, because he's gotten you accustomed to him being on a 10 and you think that's him all the time. Also, be mindful that, that is a tactic that manipulators often use, is, they will love bomb you and come on really strong in the beginning and then pull back. And what they do is they get you used to how they behaved in the beginning, and then you spend the rest of the relationship trying to capture that intensity again. You figure, he was so great and so loving, and we spent all this time together in the beginning, and he was so sweet, and he did this and that, and made me feel so good, that now that that's over, and it's been months since it's been like that, or it's only like that every so often, you won't let go of the fact that that happened a long time ago, or that is not him consistently, because what you got accustomed to was that really intense version of him. So that's not really the point of this video, but I just wanted to touch on that so a lot of us are impressed by a man who's coming on super duper strong. And I mean, that's different than a man who just really likes you, but he's also, practicing some wisdom, practicing some discernment, that he's not trying to take up all your time and not telling you he loves you and not talking commitment in a serious way in the first couple of days of meeting. Because no one knows anyone else within the first couple of days of meeting. It doesn't take a long time if you're dating with intention, but it definitely takes more than a day or two, or within the first few days. You have to, use your logical mind to know that you're probably riding off of the emotions of the moment, the excitement, those hormones that get going when you meet someone new and you're excited about the possibilities, but don't make life-altering decisions based on those emotions. You want to use a balanced mind, a mind that is rooted in reality while also embracing the possibilities, but, being realistic, because this is your heart. If you're a mother, this is, your child's heart as well. This is your life, your livelihood, that you're basically dealing with. So you don't want to make decisions that are frivolous or that are not well thought out based on, just feelings in the moment. You want them to have roots, But anyway, back to the rotational dating. A lot of women don't want to do that. And some of that is due to programming that we've received, that we're bad, or we're being a hoe, or that we're being fast or whatever if we're talking to or dating multiple men. And I believe that's patriarchal programming, because men are never shunned for dating multiple women. Now, a lot of men won't necessarily admit that, because they know, a lot of women don't want to hear that. We can get territorial and, not like it. No one likes to hear that the person that they like or are dating is seeing other people, but that is reality, especially if you're not at the place of committing. And the bottom line is, if a man doesn't want you seeing other men, he will step up to claim you. He will make you his, and you need to require that he not only do that with words, but that he consistently act like a boyfriend, that he consistently show up for you, that he be concerned with what your needs are and meet them reasonably. If he wants to stay in a relationship with you, and you have to constantly be assessing that. Don't get caught up in what they call the girlfriend trap, where you accept a man's proposal to be exclusive and then he falls off. Then you're going days without hearing from him, weeks without seeing him, but this is supposed to be your boyfriend. You got to be rooted enough in reality and real with yourself to say that's not a relationship. If he's local, there's no reason why you're not seeing him weekly. There's no reason why you're not communicating regularly. If you guys go a day without talking, I'm of the belief that it's not necessary. If it happens every so often, if you know he has like, a demanding schedule or whatever, and you guys don't touch base every single day, but he's still pretty consistent. He misses a day here and there in the beginning. You don't have to let that be a red flag, but just kind of lean back and observe. Observe, is that the kind of relationship you want? Is that what you like? Are you okay with it? Are things good otherwise? Because eventually you will reach a place where you're seeing each other all the time, as, advancing the relationship and deepening the commitment is on the table. You're eventually living together, talking marriage and things like that. So you don't have to necessarily be turned off by the frequency of communication in the beginning if it is consistent and it's regular. If it's irregular and it's inconsistent, that is definitely a turn off, because that tells you his interest is not super high. That's just the bottom line. If a man is super interested, he's not going to forget to reach out to you. He's not going to want weeks to go by where he doesn't see you. That is definitely an indication of where his interest is. Now, it could be because he's not that into the connection you all have, or he's tending to other connections that he may have, so he's seeing other people, or it could be his life is not conducive to him truly being present for a relationship. But the reason really doesn't matter, because the bottom line is you want to know that before you get your heart all wrapped up in having a future with him or cutting off all your other options for him. For whatever reason, if he cannot show up and feed the relationship, nurture the relationship, and be there for you regularly, you don't want to sign yourself up for that. You don't want to try to talk a man into, pursuing you. That stuff is the things that need to happen organically when a man's really interested. So if you find yourself compelled to ask a guy why, or convince or prod or pull him into doing what a man who's interested enough would do naturally, stop yourself and recognize you're overinvested. And that is one key benefit to stopping dating one guy and doing the rotational dating, is you will not get so overinvested so quickly. When there's only one man that you're setting your sights on, it is so easy to fall in love with what you hear from him that you like, the excitement of the moment of having somebody in your atmosphere who is interested in you, and you get way too attached too fast. You sit back, you imagine your future with him, you feel like, I could really have something with this man, and you get carried away. And when you are only dating one guy, when you don't have options, when you are love starved, as I like to call it, you will lap up crumbs like it's a meal. You will give a lot of weight to little things, and you will, like I said, let your imagination run away with you and get too attached to a man too fast, have too many expectations of him too soon. And a lot of times that will kill any potential for the connection, because you're just coming on way too strong. You are not able to stay in your feminine. You end up pursuing the man or pressuring him for a relationship, and that is a turnoff. That is a red flag to a man, because men know they are the pursuers, and men want to be the pursuer. They want to be the initiator. They know it's their responsibility to establish a relationship, not yours. And if a woman is pressing them, if a woman is acting like he's the last man on earth and she just has to have him, what it tells him is you don't have anything else going on. You don't have a life. No one else is after you. No other man wants you. And that you're a clinger. You're a stage 5 clinger. You have latched onto a man you barely know, and you're trying to make something happen with him. It's desperate energy. And that's the last thing that you want to be communicating to men, that you are a desperate woman, that, a man doesn't even have to like you. All he has to, or treat you right, or be pursuing you. If all he does is say hi or ask for your phone number or ask to take you out, and then you're on him like white on rice and trying to be his wife and, pressuring him, that sends a man running for the hills. So don't do that. Really heed my advice about that, because even though it doesn't feel comfortable, keep in mind that what you're doing now doesn't feel comfortable either. You are just used to it. You have already embraced the idea that you don't want to be dating more than one man. It's not right to date more than one man. It doesn't feel good. You already have your sights on who you like. I'm telling you, even if you have someone in mind, you still need to have other men in your atmosphere, because men are competitors. And if there is no competition, they are not motivated to step up and win. They want to win you. They want to claim you. Men want to look at you almost like a possession or land that they had to take by force, or, that makes them feel good. That gets their testosterone going. They feel like a man. They feel like a conqueror. They feel like they've won something. You don't win anything if you didn't have to do anything to get it. If it was free, if it was handed out like dinner mints at a restaurant, like, you don't want to be in that energy. So you need to keep some competition around. And also that will allow you someone to talk to if your man is falling back, if he's, giving you the hot and cold treatment, if he's not stepping up. You have options. And lastly, one other reason why you want to rotationally date is because you have to remember that you are a prize and that you are playing an active role in your love life. You're not just waiting on a man to choose you. You are also interviewing men. You are also getting to know men. And you have to remember that you have options, especially if you've been in relationships where you've had to beg and plead for love and try to convince a man. Once you get back out there and you're dating multiple men, you realize that men are interested in you, that men are after you, that men find you attractive. And that's a very different energy than you might have been living in if you've been with a man who hasn't been pursuing you or treating you right or making you feel like you're valued. So please heed my advice about the rotational dating. I have to get going, but I wanted to film this because it was on my mind. So I think that means someone needs to hear it. In fact, I know someone needs to hear it. If you have any questions about this, feel free to send me a DM, and I will talk with you ladies soon. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.